Hi, I'm Dave from Rabbit Wolf Games.
I am Chris from Dias Ex Machina.
And we're here today to talk about top 5 die placement games. Had to check my notes.
Yes, these are now, unlike the previous one, this is a specific mechanic.
Yes.
It's not a die rolling game where you roll some dice, and it's not a Yahtzee game. It's one where you literally put dice somewhere on the board after rolling them.
Yeah, but my Yahtzee should have came in there a little bit. So, but we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Once again with the scissors. You got me. No, you got me. I can't seem to get trident out. Anyway, no, you got it. You won. You smashed my trident.
All right.
Because we all know rock beats trident.
Can you smell what the rock is cooking? If it's King Poseidon, it would be sushi.
I thought you were talking about the game. Like I'm trying to get the game from that.
Number 5, Pulsar 2849. For me, what? It's a die placement game.
Kind of. I wasn't really counting that one, but okay.
It's a stretch.
Yeah, you are placing dice, but it's not a player. It's not player control die. Like you're not. All right, no, go on. No, I okay, sure.
Not much to say about this game, only because it's not necessarily one of my favorite games, but it comes in, die placement is a hard one to like.
I thought it was, and then I found 5 pretty quickly.
Oh, okay. Well,
turns out it's one of my. I've also said die placing is one of my favorite mechanics.
Yeah.
So it wasn't hard for me to find 5 games that I liked.
No. So yeah, for me, just Pulsar 2849.
So number 5 is his place.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have 5 great games.
No.
Right off the bat. I'm hoping 4, 3, 2, and 1 are great games.
Yes.
All right, moving on. Number 5 is Apocalypse Chaos. I mentioned this on a previous list, assuming we don't know this could be coming out in weird order. Or otherwise, spoilers, it's going to show up on another list. Apocalypse Chaos is a cooperative game. It absolutely is die placing. Every character gets 5 dice to roll. They're all the same symbols, but your tableau, like your character board, uses those dice in slightly different ways. If you put a gun symbol on one guy, it does 2 damage. Put a gun symbol on another guy, it does 1 damage. If you put a shield symbol on the character I usually play, he gets 2 shields. Put it on the other guy, he gets 1. You put a second of the shield symbol down, I go up to 4, he goes up to 3. So it's one of those situations where some people are better than others. But I love the fact that in a 4-player game, you can mix your dice. So if I roll 5 dice, I can give you up to 2 dice. And you can give me up to 2 dice. I can have up to 2. Nobody can have more than 7, and nobody can have below 3. So you can never have less than 3. You must always have 3 of your own dice. But you could have potentially up to 3 more or 4 more of other players' dice. So if you have 4 characters, you're constantly working around your symbols around, hoping. Because you roll 2 characters, you all could roll badly, and then the whole game could be over. But if 4 characters, this is the reason why the game doesn't scale very well. That's why you should always play with 4 characters. If you roll all 4 characters, then you have a lot more options to work with. But it's absolutely a die placing game, very cheap, $35, $40 for the game, maybe around $40 for the game. That's number 5 pick, Apocalypse Chaos.
All right. So, my number 4 game is Roll for It.
Oh, is that not really die placing?
Yeah, it is. You roll them and you place them.
I was going I was pushing very specifically for you got to put the dice somewhere on the board.
But the table is the board and roll for it.
You're just kind of shoving your dice in this. All right, okay.
So yeah.
What can you say? Yeah, roll for it.
It's roll for it. Yeah, I don't know what else you can say about it. You roll for it.
You roll and something about something with dice.
It's kind of Yahtzee. There you go.
Star Trek 5-Year Mission better be on this list then. If you're going to put roll for it and not Star Trek 5-Year Mission, I'll be very upset.
Forgot about Star Trek 5-Year Mission. That's why it's not on the list.
My number 4 pick is Star Trek 5-Year Mission. Because I, unlike him, remember that there's a better game than Roll For It called Star Trek 5-Year Mission, which has got more mechanics, is more fun, is cooperative, and has at least a semblance of a slapped-on theme. But at least there's a theme there. Star Trek 5-Year Mission, where you actually play characters with abilities, you roll dice, it's cooperative. Roll for it is fast, you roll for it. Or in case what happens is 3 people are just constantly rolling for the same 6 symbols, and then one guy is just like, "Oh, grab this, grab this, grab this." Oh, by the way, while you guys were bugging around for that 20-point card, I won the game because you're all losers.
Yep.
Searching 5, your mission is co-op. You can win in any game because you can just play until you gas out, and then you simply score yourself depending on how far you got. You got all the way to 20 cards, or 18 cards, you're an admiral. Just keep on going.
Yep.
That's Searching 5, your mission, which should have been on your list.
It should have.
Yeah, really? Do you want to flop? Oh, it's just better swap.
All right. Number 3, role player.
I wouldn't have put role player on the list.
Why? It's rolling. You're placing.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate die placing.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like my number 2 then.
It better not be the expansion. That's a different game. You better not put. Otherwise, you are really reaching if you put the expansion for role players number 2. Yeah. No. Yeah, I can see that. Go on. Keep going.
Yeah. So it's it's that take on the rolling for your character in D&D or any other RPG type kind of style game and turning it into an actual game. It's I find it a lot of fun. Is it a great game? Is it a fun game? That's all I have to say on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that was number 3, role player.
So I'm on number 2 or number 3? Number 3. And number 3 for me is Sagrada. Sagrada is another, I think, Sagrada, oddly enough, Sagrada replaced Roll for it. And when I'm trying to get people to playing the game, I want to get my sister into playing a game. And she's like, no, let's just play Cards Against Humanity. I'm like, no, I'm done with Cards Against Humanity. I'm done. So I tried to play into Sagrada, and she loves Sagrada. She still says, "Oh, I'm not a board gamer," but she really loves Sagrada because of how pretty the game is. It's got unnecessary levels of these beautiful stained glass windows. You could have just had the tableau, but they made that beautiful stained glass character board. It's not a difficult game to master. It's not a difficult game to learn. It can be a tricky game to master because you're constantly moving, trying to figure out how to put your tableau in. You're moving abilities to swap things around.
Yeah,
fantastic. Beautiful game. That's my number 3 pick, Sagrada.
All right. My number 2 pick, real quick, Sagrada.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't feel so bad that you put Sagrada. Why is Sagrada better than role player?
I have more enjoyment out of Sagrada than role player.
I could have sworn you didn't like Sagrada as much.
No, I like Sagrada.
Wow, I thought it's a pretty basic game.
Yeah, it is. But I have more enjoyment out of it than I do role player. I mean, we played role player the other night, and I was just like,
yeah.
So yeah, Sagrada for me. It just like everything you just said.
Copy and paste. Yeah,
pretty much. All right,
my number 2. Aha! I fooled you. It's role player. Yeah. Of course, it's gonna be a role player. I'm a gamer, for God's sakes.
I know.
Why would I do that? Of course.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's better than it. It's Sagrada's mechanic. It's one of those things where if there's a great movie that comes out, there's usually at least one writer or one director that goes, damn it, why didn't I think of that? I remember there's a story about James Cameron when he saw Star Wars. He wanted to be a filmmaker. He saw Star Wars. He was like, damn it, someone did it. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create that big space epic. And they joined Hollywood and he actually ended up working on Return of the Jedi, and the rest is history. And that was my thing. When someone's like, oh yeah, there's a completely competitive die placement game called Role Player where the entire game is making characters. I was like, son of a gun, why didn't I get that out? Why didn't I think of that? Make the entire character creation process. Because people do that. Some people just sit there and they make characters all day.
Yeah.
People love. One of the things
Brittany loves doing that.
When you're making a big campaign, you're prepping for everything. People think, oh, then we have to sit there and make characters. Any good group of gamers, the one thing to look forward to is sitting there with their GM and all of them working together and making characters. Anybody who makes characters privately, you're not following the spirit of the game. You make characters, you should make characters communally with your friends, with the GM there, so you all understand what's going to happen. You can all make your characters bounce off each other, get great ideas, feedback. It's an incredibly fun experience. Turning that into a competitive experience was brilliant.
Yeah.
Minions and monsters can eat a dick. It's nothing bad. They threw in some neat mechanics. They fixed certain elements with the core game, which I liked. Oddly enough, some of the alt rules for a role player are actually, I feel, better than presented. They mitigate some of the early round randomness and make the game more fair. Minions and monsters are like, now we're going to take role player and add monsters you can fight. And I'm like, but then it just becomes the spirit of your game is that you make the entire game creation process character generation. If you wanted to throw in, if I was going to do expansion for role player, I would have added in elements of making the character at higher levels. So you're adding in levels ahead of time, doing epic level feat, incorporating more of the rule structure by having to do other class features along the way. Because you're just making the character at first level. Making the character at fifth level when you're adding in level and class progression. The last thing I would have done is put in actual combat into the game. I would never have done that. I would have kept that theme and made it still that. But the game itself, role player, oh my god. Yeah. I would have loved it even better if he actually made the character boards look like 10-year-old weathered character sheets with like eraser marks and coffee stains. If he'd done that, that's it. I would have just handed him some money and just said, you know what, that's a great idea. That's it, role player. What can you say? It's a great game.
All right.
Number 1. Snip, snip, snip. I cut my finger.
All right. My number 1 for die placement, Pandemic the Cure.
Damn it! I forgot about that one. I forgot about Pandemic the Cure. Oh.
Yeah.
Where would I put that on my list? I'd say I'd put Pandemic the Cure between Star Trek 5 Year Mission and Sagrada. It'd push Apocalypse Chaos off.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Pandemic the Cure. For me, it actually it erased Pandemic from my shelves. Yeah. Honestly. It's the better game. Yeah, I have more fun with it.
Why don't people say that more often? No one talks about it. So it's Pandemic Legacy this, and look at the Pandemic Tides of this, Tides of Rome, and Pandemic this. It's like...
Yeah, no, it erased Pandemic from my shelves because I can more easily pull up Pandemic the Cure and play it.
Yeah.
Than...
It's not there's something... I know it's about
I know
it's not a soul-crushing.
What it is that it's that game of chance, because in Pandemic it's like you have 3 actions or whatever.
4.
It's 4 actions. Okay, well, I'm going to go here. I'm going to take this cube off. Maybe I'll go here, take this other cube off, and
yeah.
There
are rounds where you can't do jack.
Whereas like, Pandemic the Cure, you're just like,
yeah. Woo! When your round starts, the infinity is in your hand.
Yes.
There's never a point, but there's certain turns like, well, I can't do anything in my turn, so I guess I'll do this, and I'm done.
And it's also push your luck, right? Because you're just like, roll. Ooh, no hazards. All right, let's try again. Oh!
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It is, I think we're going to be in agreement. We're going to say this now, and people are going to hate us. It is better than core Pandemic.
I will agree. Yeah. It is better than the
We've stated it's fact now.
Yep. I agree.
And the only reason why it's not in my collection is that it's getting really difficult to find.
Oh, yeah, and it's not cheap when it was...
It's not cheap, but they show up in a game store, they vanish, and you...
Yep. It disappears quick.
It finally showed up in one of the big retailers after 2 years of waiting.
Wow.
Like literally, I got the notice like, "Hey, Pandemic Figures back." It was like, "Wow, really?" And I was like, "Oh, right, 55." It's like 55.
Well, see, I found out about it because Chaz mentioned it in one of his one of his YouTube videos the one day, and I was just like, "The what now?"
The what now?
And looked and found it, and I watched some videos on it. I'm just like, yeah, add to cart." And I'm like, "What's that you say?" Because Chaz had just mentioned he got the expansion, and I'm just like,
"Yep."
Found the expansion that same day. I'm like, "Add to cart."
I haven't tried the expansion. Yeah.
Oh, it's worth it.
Yeah, it comes to a point where like I've been railing against the Pandemic mechanic for a very long time. I think it was a good game at the time, but like Monopoly, it's like one of those things where okay, push it aside, do something more. The innovation has passed.
Yep.
The Cure was that innovation.
Oh yes.
And I don't understand why we're not exploring that space more.
Yeah. And for me also is that it took some of the complexity out. Because
it added some in, but it took it out. But
because it's not the entire world; it's 6 little circles.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number 1, Pandemic the Cure.
Good choice. No, I wouldn't put it number 1. It'd definitely be on my list. My number 1 is one of my all-time favorite games. Period. It's my watch dying. Battery's dead. Alien Frontiers. I went looking for Alien Frontier. Like, it took me like a long time because no stores had it for sale. I didn't want to buy the big box, and I ended up buying all the freaking expansions anyway. And
I bought the big box.
Well, the big box was actually difficult to find.
Oh, okay.
This was before I discovered some of the online web stores. This is back when I first starting my gaming process, and I was calling store. I wasn't going online as much. I couldn't find it on Amazon, and I found it in one game store in Vancouver. I was in Vancouver for 2 days.
Citadel.
Nope.
Okay.
I went there for that one thing, bought it, and I was just I literally carried it for me all day till I got back home. Played it at my brother's place, and I had already played it online on the Tabletopia.
Oh yeah.
I was in love with it then. I loved it. I brought it home, played with it. I love the aesthetic. I love the idea of how the game works. I love the fact that there's never a turn when you roll dice that they can't be placed somewhere. They could always be useful. I have never in my entire life played that. I've played this game quite a few times. I've never been in a situation where I have rolled the dice and the dice could not be placed somewhere. They've made it in such a way that every single round can be useful. Even if you may not be doing what you want, you're always doing something. And I also may want to stress, I have never lost the game. I have played the game with three different groups. I played with Nicole, my fiance, numerous times. She's never beaten me at that game. And I played with other people who are incredibly competitive, and they've never beaten me at that game. Unfortunately, it has a bit of a strategy. The strategy is if you can go hardcore, wasting early turns to get more ships.
Yes.
The sooner you can get your more ships, the easier the long game is.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they move things around, and I focus hardcore. If I can get onto the area to get more dice, the game becomes easier. And that's the only problem with the game. If you know that strategy, the game becomes a bit easier for those people who know it. But then if you have people who know the game, you're all fighting for that space.
Yeah.
But that's the core thing, getting on that space and getting your extra dice and doing it as soon as possible. Even at the sacrifice of not maybe doing something that you were planning on doing, the moment you have an open spot to put dice on there to get your ship, you do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alien Frontiers, absolutely love that game.
Fair enough. All right. So for die placement, number 5 was Pulsar 2049. Number 4 was Roll For It. Number 3 was Role Player. Number 2 was Sagrada. And of course, number 1, Pandemic: The Cure.
We should do like a song from The Cure. Number 5, Apocalypse Chaos. 4, Star Trek 5-Year Mission. 3, Sagrada. 2, Role Player. And 1 is Alien Frontiers. I probably would put Pandemic probably at 4, which would push Star Trek 5 Mission to 5, but I'll leave my list the way it is. But yeah, that's it.
All right.
I've been Chris.
And I've been Dave. And remember, the rules are just suggestion. Play the game how you want to play it.